We're back with chapter 3 of the worst book I've ever read. And perhaps because all bad things must be racially motivated, racist. Hear me out, it's not so awful as it sounds. No, I don't think you're racist. You're the only one who thinks you're racist. I don't see everything through race. Why do you? Marxist authors love to divide everyone by race and then allege that certain qualities are part of a specific race. Yet they'll also complain that stereotypes annoy them. It's a collectivist way to think of groups of people so that they can reduce you to a group and not an individual. This is why I hate collectivism. June has done a bad thing by plagiarizing, so I think she's a thief. When she passed off Athena's book as her own, she committed fraud, so I think she's a thief and a fraud. June's race has fuck all to do with anything. We get a glimpse into how a Marxist frames this, however, when Kuang throws the racist comment in there. Marxists want us to think white people are thieves. That's why they're always complaining about colonialism, while forgetting the fact that colonialism builds civilizations. They'll whine about colonialism while benefiting from it themselves. When Marxists sit in their houses and whine about colonialism on all the audio and video equipment that wouldn't be possible without colonization, it always strikes me as very ironic. I'm in no way saying colonization was perfect, but nothing is perfect. What I am saying is that colonization did give us some amazing things, like the internet, like civilization, and I'm grateful that it happened. On page 33, we get this. Athena's early drafts are chaotic, primordial, with half-finished sentences littered all over the place. Sometimes I couldn't even tell where she was going with the paragraph, so I excised it completely. Which makes me think of this from page 26. A story with no proper protagonist shouldn't be this compelling, but Athena's sentences are so engaging, I keep getting lost in the story. Then on page 33 we get this. My treasured friend. Which reminds me of this. But in recent years, I've developed another theory, which is that everyone else finds her as unbearable as I do. Which was on page 7. Gotta love that Marxist short-term memory loss. And maybe Athena would have even wanted this. June continues to justify her terrible behavior to the reader and herself. I'm not convinced. The values of the author are reflected in the character, everybody. People come to a text with so many prejudices formed by what they think they know about the author, she said before. No. Take this book, for example. I didn't look up the author. I hate these characters because they have bad qualities and behavior. I hate the storyline, if we can even call it that, because it's bad and preachy propaganda. This paragraph wants everyone to look at people the same way a Marxist does. It wants this to be a collective idea by saying, well, everyone does this. People come to a text. Wording it this way implies everyone in society does this when that's a lie.
Lies and lies and more lies.
I sometimes wonder how my work would be received if I pretended to be a man or a white woman. The text could be exactly the same, but one might be a critical bomb and the other a resounding success. If someone else had written these exact words, I'd still think the book was bad, because these words together don't make a good story. I don't care who is preaching Marxist propaganda at me, I will always find it bad.
It's not rocket science.
For the first time in months, I was happy about writing again. I felt like I'd been given a second chance. I was starting to believe in the dream again, that if you hone your craft and tell a good story, the industry will take care of the rest. That's nowhere near what you did. You didn't hone your craft. You edited another author's story and called it yours. Is this book promoting plagiarism? I wouldn't be surprised, actually. Next on NBC, How to Get Away with Plagiarism. Feeling so elated about doing something wrong is such a fucked up way to be, but that's what leftists do. They elevate the criminal. They elevate terrible behavior. They gaslight you. They tell you that rioters are peaceful protesters. Burning down Target is not a peaceful protest, okay? Just be smarter. That is property damage, which is a criminal offense. I felt like the kind of person who now listened to Kanye. This is contender number 2 for worst quote ever written. Once again, I don't know what that means, and once again, I don't care. Is that justification enough for you, or are you still convinced that I'm some racist thief? Now we have June yelling at the reader. As I said before, I don't think you're a racist, but you are a thief. No amount of justification changes what you did, you silly twat. Oh, it's so fun when an author makes the character yell at the reader. Nothing like being berated by a fictional bint. We owe nothing to the dead. Oh, really? Is that why leftists are always whining about Indian burial sites? Because they believe we owe nothing to the dead? Is that why leftists love ancestor worship? Because they believe we owe nothing to the dead? Is that why leftists cannot shut up about slavery? Because they believe we owe nothing to the dead? Give me a break. If leftists really believed we owe nothing to the dead, they wouldn't talk about any of this shit. Taking Athena's manuscript felt like reparations, payback for the things that Athena took from me. With the last line of the chapter, June continues to be a narcissist. Athena didn't take anything from you, you deranged lunatic. She was better at writing. I know that's a foreign concept to you, but you are not entitled to a book deal as an author, you silly cow. Write well, impress somebody, and make them pick up your work based on merit. At the end of chapter 3, we have June yelling at the reader so we can add rude to her list of terrible qualities. She felt entitled to a book deal, so we find out she's rude, insecure, jealous, narcissistic, and entitled. Marxist writing, everybody!